3 stories about people drowning. Eyes in the darkness. It was a moonless night in the remote countryside where a quaint old farmhouse stood, surrounded by fields of tall grass. Sarah and Mark, a young couple seeking a peaceful weekend getaway, had rented the place for a few days. Little did they know that the serene ambience would quickly transform into a chilling nightmare. On their first night, as they settled into the creaking old bed, Sarah noticed something peculiar. In the dim light, she could see 2 faint, glowing eyes peering at her from the corner of the room. She nudged Mark awake and pointed towards the unnerving sight. Mark, still half asleep, dismissed it as a figment of her imagination. However, over the next few nights, the eyes persisted. They appear every night, growing closer each time. The couple's nerves frayed, and they started hearing inexplicable sounds echoing through the empty halls. As days turned to weeks, their fear only intensified. Desperate for answers, Sarah began researching the farmhouse's history. It was then she stumbled upon a tragic tale of a previous owner who had lost their child under mysterious circumstances. The legend said that the grieving spirit of the child wandered the house, searching for companionship in the living. Terrified but determined to confront the presence, Sarah and Mark decided to hold a seance. As they gathered in the living room, the atmosphere thickened, and they felt an ominous presence enveloping them. Sarah spoke the words, and the room plunged into darkness. A cold wind blew through the house, and the eyes became more vivid than ever. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the room, and the walls seemed to close in. Mark saw his wife being pulled into the shadows, and as he reached for her, his hands passed through empty air. He was utterly helpless as Sarah's desperate cries filled the night. In the days that followed, Sarah's disappearance remained unsolved. Mark couldn't bear to stay in the haunted farmhouse any longer, so he packed his bags and left, haunted by the memories of those glowing eyes and his wife's torment. Months later, a group of paranormal investigators arrived at the farmhouse, drawn by the legends surrounding the place. Armed with sophisticated equipment, they ventured into the darkened halls. As they explored, they could feel an oppressive atmosphere settling around them. In one room, they discovered an old, dusty mirror that had been hidden behind a cabinet. To their horror, the mirror appeared to contain a malevolent presence, its surface swirling with dark energy. Unbeknownst to them, the spirit of the lost child had found a new dwelling place. As the investigators continued their exploration, they began experiencing inexplicable phenomena. Strange apparitions appeared in their photographs, and their equipment malfunctioned without any logical explanation. Fear started to gnaw at them, but their determination to uncover the truth kept them going. Late into the night, the investigators decided to conduct a seance to communicate with the trapped spirit. They formed a circle around the mirror and attempted to establish a connection with the other side. The atmosphere grew tense, and a sudden drop in temperature sent shivers down their spines. Then, the mirror began to emit an eerie, glowing light, casting haunting shadows across the room. A soft whisper filled the air, growing louder with each passing moment. The investigators strained to decipher the words, but they were distorted and incomprehensible. Just as the tension reached its peak, the room plunged into darkness, and a chilling silence fell upon the group. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. Faint sounds of laughter and crying echoed from the depths of the house. The investigators exchanged terrified glances, realizing that they had unleashed something malevolent. Before they could react, the spirit erupted with rage. The room shook violently, and objects flew off the shelves, crashing against the walls. The investigators scrambled to escape the chaos, but the malevolent force seemed to have them trapped. One by one, they succumbed to the wrath of the vengeful spirit. Their bodies contorted in unnatural positions, their faces frozen in expressions of terror. The room fell silent once more, leaving only the chilling presence of the malevolent spirit. As the first rays of dawn illuminated the farmhouse, a foreboding darkness lingered within its walls. The legend of the haunted farmhouse would continue to draw in curious souls, but none would ever escape its wrath. The haunted carnival. The once thriving carnival had long been abandoned, its once colorful attractions now covered in a shroud of darkness. Locals whispered of its sinister past, claiming that the spirit of a malevolent circus master haunted the desolate grounds. Intrigued by the macabre tales, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to explore the abandoned carnival on a moonless night. Emma, David, Sarah, and Jake arrived at the decrepit entrance, their hearts pounding with excitement and trepidation. As they ventured deeper into the carnival, the air grew colder, and an eerie mist enveloped the grounds. The laughter and cheers that once filled the air had been replaced with haunting whispers and spectral apparitions. A feeling of dread gnawed at their hearts, but their curiosity pushed them forward. Emma, a fearless daredevil, suggested they visit the old circus tent, the heart of the malevolent spirit's domain. With each step they took, the atmosphere became more oppressive, and the ground seemed to shift beneath their feet. As they entered the dilapidated tent, a chilling wind swept through the air. The faint sound of a music box echoed, growing louder with each passing moment. Panic set in, and the teenagers tried to leave, but the exit seemed to have vanished. Trapped inside the tent, they realized they were not alone. Shadowy figures appeared on the stage, their ghostly forms illuminated by an eerie, ethereal light. Among them stood a menacing figure, the circus master himself. He beckoned them to the center of the stage, his grin twisted and malevolent. The teenagers hesitated, but an unseen force compelled them to comply. Frozen in terror, they stood before the spirit, their breaths trembling. With a wave of his hand, the circus master conjured ghostly visions of the carnival's past. They saw performers falling to their deaths, tragic accidents, and horrifying acts of cruelty. The malevolent energy in the tent intensified, threatening to overwhelm them. Emma, refusing to succumb to the fear, tried to confront the spirit. She demanded to know why he was trapped in the carnival and what he sought in the realm of the living. The circus master's laughter filled the air, his amusement and her bravery evident. In a haunting voice, he revealed his dark intent to claim new souls for his spectral carnival. He sought to add the living to his collection of tormented performers, forever binding them to his malevolent domain. With that revelation, the tent began to twist and distort, its walls closing in on the teenagers. Panic consumed them as they realized the gravity of their situation. Desperate to escape, they mustered their courage and confronted the spirit with a challenge. They offered to be his performers willingly, but on one condition, that he let them leave the carnival and never return. The circus master hesitated, intrigued by their audacity. He agreed to their proposal, but warned them that the carnival's curse would forever linger in their memories. With a sinister grin, he waved his hand, and the tent began to collapse around them. As the walls crumbled, the teenagers felt a force pulling them back into the realm of the living. They were thrown out of the tent and found themselves standing outside the carnival's entrance once more. The carnival had vanished, leaving only an empty field. The teenagers, shaken and scarred, made their way back home, forever haunted by the night they encountered the malevolent circus master. The memories of the haunted carnival would forever linger in their minds, a chilling reminder that some encounters with the supernatural could leave lasting marks on the soul. The sinister music box. In the heart of the city, amidst the hustle and bustle of everyday life, a quaint little antique shop sat tucked away in a quiet corner. Mark, an antique enthusiast, would often visit the store to peruse its fascinating collection of relics from a bygone era. One afternoon, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mark entered the shop, his curiosity piqued by a new addition to the collection, a mesmerizing music box. The shop owner informed him that it was an incredibly rare piece, rumored to be cursed with an otherworldly presence. Intrigued and undeterred by the ominous tales, Mark purchased the music box and took it home. As the night draped the city in darkness, he wound the delicate mechanism, and the music box came to life with a hauntingly beautiful melody. Unbeknownst to Mark, a sinister force awakened with the music. As the enchanting tune filled the room, ghostly apparitions appeared, dancing in harmony with the melody. Their faces contorted into grotesque expressions, sending shivers down Mark's spine. Over the next few nights, the music box would play by itself, each time summoning more malevolent spirits. Mark's once cheerful home now felt like a desolate and haunted place. He attempted to rid himself of the cursed box, but every time he tried to get rid of it, it would mysteriously reappear on his doorstep the next day. Desperate and terrified, Mark reached out to paranormal experts to help him break the curse. They warned him of a powerful entity bound to the music box, its malevolence feeding on fear and despair. They devised a plan to banish the spirit and put an end to its torment. On the eve of the next full moon, Mark and the investigators gathered at his home. They formed a circle around the music box and began reciting an incantation to weaken the spirit's hold. As the clock struck midnight, the room filled with an eerie aura, and the music box began to play on its own. The spirits that emerged were more malevolent than ever, their presence suffocating. The investigators struggled to maintain their focus as the entities tried to break their concentration with haunting whispers and chilling laughter. Suddenly, the room fell into complete darkness, and the music box's melody reached a feverish crescendo. Shadows darted across the walls, and Mark felt a cold hand clutch his shoulder. He fought back the terror threatening to consume him, determined to see the ritual through. With a final surge of energy, the investigators chanted the last verses of the incantation. The music box trembled and shook, and the malevolent spirits let out an anguished cry. The box exploded with an otherworldly force, scattering shards of its cursed wood and glass. When the dust settled, the room fell silent. The music box was gone, and the malevolent presence had dissipated. Mark felt an overwhelming sense of relief, but he knew the ordeal was far from over. In the aftermath of the encounter, Mark kept the remnants of the music box as a reminder of the dangers of delving into the unknown. He couldn't help but wonder if the curse had truly been lifted or if the malevolent entity had simply retreated, biding its time. He learned that some mysteries were best left unsolved and that certain relics carried a darkness too potent for mortal comprehension. Though the music box was destroyed, the haunting melody lingered in his memory, a reminder that some curses could never truly be broken.